Let me say I appreciate all of you being here to welcome our new Interim Athletic Director, Allie Prescott, to the University of Memphis. Before we get started, I wanted to take a minute and thank Tom Bowen for his service to the university and our community. He has helped move our athletic department forward in significant fashion, and we are grateful for that effort. I also want to thank Cato Johnson for joining us today as a representative of the Board of Trustees. As was mentioned in the press release, we will start a search for a new athletic director immediately, although we have yet to identify a specific timeline for that process in the coming months. I'm sure that all of you know Allie Prescott well. I know Allie and Barbara extremely well. I've had the privilege to work with both of them in a range of settings over the course of the past 5 years, and I am enormously grateful to Allie for stepping in to serve in this role of Interim Athletic Director at the University of Memphis. As you know, he is simply the perfect fit for this position. He knows Memphis in great depth and detail. He's invested heavily in the success of this city and this university. He understands the challenges in college athletics today and the nature of the landscape extremely well. He has unparalleled enthusiasm for Memphis and Memphis athletics. I have absolute confidence in his ability to continue the exceptional momentum in the department and the programs that they have established over the course of the past several years, and we are excited about the future. I think we've got a remarkably bright future ahead of us. Again, Allie, we are thrilled to have you here and grateful for you stepping in and assuming this role. With that, let me welcome Cato Johnson to make a couple of comments and then introduce Allie.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rudd. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. King once said, it's not how one stands in time of comfort and convenience, but how one stands in times of challenge. I've known Allie Prescott for many, many years. We have worked together on many civic endeavors. He stands tall in times of challenge. He is a tremendous human being. He is a tremendous citizen. He cares a great deal, not only about this university, but about this city, about this community. This community is important to all of us. University of Memphis Athletics is important to all of us. We could not have a better interim athletic director than Allie Prescott. Someone I have great confidence, someone who I care a great deal about. I also would like to say, as a member of the Board of Trustees, we have a great president that I have the privilege of working with on many, many days. He does forget, though, that I get a paycheck from Methodist Labonda Healthcare. But that never stops him from calling on me. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a great interim athletic director who will make this community proud, will make this university proud. This time I would like to introduce Mr. Allie Prescott.
Thank you very much, Cato. It's a real privilege to be here in front of you ladies and gentlemen this morning. I appreciate you coming out. It's a very exciting day for me and for my family. I'd first like to say thank you to President Rudd and to Cato for those very kind words. I'd also like to give a shout out to Bill and Nancy Laurie for providing the league gift that allows us to stand in this magnificent facility, which is second to none, certainly, in this country. And I know Coach Hardaway and his staff and the players and those players yet to come are going to be thrilled with the opportunity to practice in this facility and then go downtown and play in the beautiful FedEx Forum. Before I go on, I certainly want to recognize and acknowledge my family. Right here in front of me, the four most important people in my life, really my reason for living, and I'm just honored that they're here. First of all, my wife, Barbara. We will be celebrating our 40th anniversary in September. I'm grateful that she's kept me around that long, and we look forward to celebrating that anniversary. She's the love of my life for sure. She's my partner in everything we do, personally and professionally. And she's my best buddy, and I'm so glad to have her here. Second of all, not many 71-year-old men have the privilege of introducing their mother. I know that. I'd like to introduce my mother, Willadine Prescott. She will be happy for me to tell you that in September she will celebrate her 99th birthday. So, yes, indeed. I know how fortunate I am that she's here, and I don't want to get her crying or me, but my father passed away in 2001, and this would be a very exciting day for him. I'm sure he's up there smiling down on this. And then I'd like to introduce to you my two children, both of whom are lifelong Tiger fans. Can't grow up in our house without being a Tiger fan. First, my daughter, Allison, who attended Tulane University early in her collegiate career, but I'm proud to tell you that she's an honors graduate of the University of Memphis and a huge Tiger sports fan. And our son, Allie, the fourth, who also went to Tulane and graduated magna cum laude from Tulane University in finance and administration, and was a member of the Tulane baseball team until, like his dad, blew out his rotator cuff and his career ended prematurely. But I'm grateful to have my family here today, and I appreciate them very, very much. I said to Tammy I wasn't going to have notes, but I also knew that in the import of this day and the emotion of this day that I would probably scribble a couple of them down to just keep me on target. Let me begin after the introduction of my family by just saying that I stand here humble and honored that President Rudd has reached out and asked me to be the interim athletic director at my alma mater. I should say my two-time alma mater, as an undergraduate in Bachelor's of Administration and a graduate in 1972 of the University of Memphis Law School. It's quite an honor. When President Rudd approached me several weeks ago and asked me if I would be willing and able to serve, I think I looked him in the eye and I said, sir, I'm humbled that you came forward, and I will be honored to serve. But before doing so, I told President Rudd that I needed to speak to this young man on the front row, David Waddell, where I've had the privilege of serving as Senior Vice President for the past 12 years, pretty much in charge of client development at David's Memphis office. And I told David what the President had presented to me, and I'm just so pleased and happy to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, that David was, not surprisingly, totally understanding and totally supportive that I would take this break from my work at Waddell to help the President in this interim time, to give the President time to form his search committee in a methodical way, and then to go about a nationwide search for the next full-time athletic director, and just hope that I will do a good enough job where he will feel comfortable that he doesn't have to rush, because I'm excited to be here. It's humbling to sort of stand in the gap in that regard. I know that this is a very important role, not only at this university, but it's a very important role in the city that I've called home all of my life. So I hope that you know that I'm coming straight from the heart when I tell you that it's very humbling to be standing here before you today. I hope that the President will continue to have the confidence that he can be deliberate and be methodical and do everything he needs to do, and I know he will, because I know the kind of man he is. He mentioned that he and Loretta and Barbara and I have struck up a friendship for the past several years. It's so meaningful to us. And I do know what kind of man he is, as Cato said, and I know that he has absolutely the best interest of our city and this university, and particularly for today's purposes, of the athletic department. So we're going to come up with a great full-time AD. There is no question about that. I realize that my job as interim athletic director is to serve with integrity, to honor the traditions of the program. I know it's going to be a hard job, but I also think it's going to be a wonderful job. I think it's going to be fun. I see members of the staff here. I'm looking forward to this job. I want each and every one of you to know that I am. I want to focus on this job every day and give this, my alma mater, my two-time alma mater, the kind of interim athletic director she deserves. And to that end, I pledge to you to give it everything I've got. My son, who is very technologically adept, brought up a video, Tammy, this morning and showed me of the bicentennial celebration where I had the honor of serving as the president of the National Alumni Association. And I believe I began my remarks that morning, that evening. We had the festivities on campus for those of you who were here by saying that I've sort of wanted to be a Tiger all my life. I can't remember a time that I didn't want to be a Tiger. I mentioned to you my mother and dad, their love for this university and particularly its athletic department. In the early 50s, I was born in 1947. I don't think we missed a Tiger football game at Crump Stadium. I don't think we missed a men's Tiger basketball game at the old field house, and then moving on into the Coliseum until I was out on my own. So I've grown up a Tiger fan. In 1965, when I graduated from Kingsbury High School, I signed a scholarship here to play baseball for then Coach Al Brown. Played here for 4 years, and then I was fortunate that Coach Brown would continue to have me around, and I served as his graduate assistant for 3 years to help pay my way through law school. So that was it was an honor to be in a Tiger baseball uniform out here for 7 years. Subsequent to my playing days, never quite good enough to play professionally. It was always a dream, but don't look back with any regret on the things, the twists and turns that life has had for me. But Barbara and I have continued to be big supporters of this university. We're season ticket holders for Tiger men's basketball and for Coach Norvell's football team, and we do love Tiger athletics. Again, a reason for the humility that I stand for you today. And finally, I'll say again that to have served with Tammy as the president of the National Alumni Association during the year 2012 for this university's centennial celebration was a tremendous honor, and just it was just a time in my life that nothing had really quite measured up to that. It was so very important. I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves. And I tell you, not being corny at all, but my heart's really full of joy to stand here with the opportunity to roll up my sleeves as your interim athletic director. And I look forward to that. I also enter this job with an open mind. I have a lot of things that the president and I have talked about that need to be done in this job. As I say, I know it's going to be a hard job, but I feel that I'm ready for it, and I'm looking forward to it. Let me just give you a couple of ideas about what we'll do early on. I told the president and Cato a while ago, nothing more important to me than to meet individually with each and every one of the coaches on the staff. Find out, my goal in those meetings will be to be a great listener. Find out how I personally and how my office can help them and their program and their student athletes be the best that they can be, and I look forward to that. Just as I look forward to meeting individually with every one of my direct reports, and I can't wait to do that. Find out what programs are in place, learn more about the university's athletic department, sit with those direct reports and help develop a strategy and a plan for us going forward. Also plan to meet regularly with the President's Leadership Council. Look forward to getting to know the Board of Trustees, all of Cato's colleagues on the trustees. That's important to me. And then once those four ambitious goals are met or I'm underway with them, I also want to go around and let people know in this community that support this university and its athletic program how much I personally appreciate them. I don't want them to ever feel taken for granted. I will walk in lockstep with the president whenever he asks me if we're going to raise additional funds. But those who have made things possible that we see around us right now, I want those people who have helped make that possible to feel important. And I'm going to be out there trying to make sure that they know that. I'm about ready to take my seat. I want you all to know that I personally think that this is a very, very exciting time in Tiger athletics. It really is very, very special. It comes as no surprise to any of you that there's a buzz not only in this community but all around this country about what's going on in men's basketball. but there's a buzz about a lot of things that are going on in Tiger athletics. Coach Norvell's Charges have won back-to-back AAC West Division championships and been to 5 consecutive bowls. Women's soccer and men's golf have just won AAC championship titles. That's exciting. I saw where Coach McFerrin had a top 35 recruiting class. I'm not going to go down one by one with the coaches, but be assured after I meet with you one-on-one, next time I'm up here, I'm going to talk about every one of you. But it's an exciting time in Tiger athletics. I've told the president, you know, I'm going to be an interim. I know he's going to be moving forward, as he said, with all speed to find the full-time AD that's perfect for this city. But while I'm here, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and do a great job, and I'd like to see us win more championships, AAC championships, and I'm like our basketball coach and probably other coaches that I don't want to put national championships out of the realm of possibility, and that's why I want to be talking to these coaches. I hope they have the same feeling about that. I also want to be sure that we're graduating our student athletes. My understanding is that the record right now is just tremendous, and I'm looking forward to working with our student athletes there. We want to do it the right way. The president has shown me where the compliance is, and I will be meeting with them early on because that's going to be very, very important to me. And finally, I want to engage this entire community. As I say, I've lived in the city all my life. I have 2 degrees from this university. I'm a very, very proud alum. I know that there are different loyalties throughout this city of people who attended other institutions of higher learning, but there's no reason we can't be in their pecking order. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that happens. So, President Rudd, I'm honored that you have the confidence in me to ask me to serve as your interim AD. I pledge to you that I will not let you down. I'll do my best. Thank you. Thank you. Good job.
I don't want to speak for Tom. I would encourage you that that is a question that Tom would need to answer. You know, Tom submitted a resignation. I accepted it, and I think his comments are in the press release that we did. I'm going to repeat the same. I'm going to repeat the same answer. Tom submitted a resignation. I accepted it. His comments are in the press release. He wants to look at other alternatives and other options.
In your mind, what did you say to Allie in terms of what you would like to see him do in this interim role, given that it's not necessarily a fixed time frame? What would you like to see this role develop into?
Sure. No, it's not a fixed time frame. I think that the primary concern for us is we've had a good success. I think by any metric that you look at, in terms of overall performance, we've got good engagement in performance of our athletes academically, and we want to make sure that momentum continues. And we want adequate time in this interim period to make sure that we make a thoughtful, careful decision about the future of Tiger Athletics and the permanent athletic director for the department. We want to make sure that we've got a deliberate process that we can engage in. So we don't feel any rush to do that. We'll put together a committee We've hired a number of coaches over the course of the last number of years. Sadly, in college athletics, you get good at that process if you've entertained it a few times, and we've entertained coaching searches a few times here. So we'll engage that process and move forward, and we'll want to be very deliberate, very thoughtful. Want to make sure we get the best representative that can move the department and continue to move the department forward. Jeff, we have not finalized a committee. We will use a committee, and we've not made a definitive decision about a search firm and who we would engage in that process. But we anticipate we'll have a decision pretty quickly on that. And I don't know, Cato, if you want to respond at all from the trustees' side.
One of the things, Jeff, that we have been very cognizant of is, as trustees, we understand one thing. We have one employee, the president. We have been very involved in searches for coaches the last couple of years. We have had trustees involved in that. We've had members of the Board of Visitors involved in that. And one of the things we do understand is how important the search process is. We will promise you it will be deliberate, but we will be making that decision quickly. And the president and I have talked about that.
Well, I don't know that I'd speculate about a certain time period for that to happen. I think part of anytime we have a transition at this level, we do a thoughtful review of where the department is and where we want the department to go. This search is no different than any upper level search we've done for the university, and we don't constrain ourselves by establishing really a timeline that we don't feel significant pressure to do that. So we're going to be very thoughtful about the process. We'll do a review before we move forward.
Well, Jeff, I will say that you're correct, that 25 years ago, I very much wanted to be the athletic director at my alma mater, but I was not selected, and faith, family, friends, that's pretty much my family's motto, and I do believe the Lord works in mysterious ways. I wouldn't have gotten to do the Redbirds gig and be a part of making AutoZone Park available for our city of Memphis. Lots of good things have happened in my life. It was probably not meant to be at that time, but yes, I do think there's a little bit of symmetry, and I hope that everyone can see that I am genuinely thrilled to be able to sit in that chair for however long it takes the president and the Board of Trustees and the search committee to find the right person who will have this job on a permanent basis. No.
I don't know if that was definitive enough for you, but it seemed pretty definitive to me. So
very good.
I appreciate your question, Mark. And as I say, that was 25 years ago when I was burning passionate about getting this job. Now, I just thoroughly enjoyed my work with David Waddell, but David's kind to give me this latitude to let the president have his time. So I think this is going to work just fine, and I'll be happy to pass the baton once the selection is made.
thank you.